As a first year, first semester unit, our students are learning a lot beyond just our content, learning how to be a university student, to live in the university context where they've come perhaps from a high school context. Not all of them have, but many have. One of the things that we've done to try to help students not just to learn human biology, but to learn about how to most effectively manage their time in the unit and to watch their own skills developing over time, is to scaffold assessments to lead into one another. We've had an assessment which is, for example, almost a first draft of a final product, or we've had an assessment where it has multiple iterations where they can build on their skills each time, leading towards either a final exam or a skills test or something like this. So in this way, we hope that having earlier, low-weighted assessments allow students to build their confidence. I know, being a first-year university student, the first assessment you do at university is so worrying because you don't know where the standard is going to be. And so if you go into something, it's very nerve-wracking to think, I don't know, have I prepared enough for this? Do I understand enough? And so to have early assessments that can help to build students' confidence, to think, oh, it's okay. I'm going to be okay here. I do belong here. It's going to be all right. I think that can be a really huge relief for students. So for example, we had an assessment that was quite small that was really just based on finding a scientific source and citing it correctly. And so we could give them feedback on their citation, quite low weighting. And then we had a follow-up assessment that was more of a complete scientific report when they can apply that knowledge of how to seek out resources and how to cite them correctly. And they can then take that feedback, feed forward into that assessment. And so that really helps, I think, to build students' confidence. Another thing that we've done in the past is using group work and group assessment. It can really help students to feel less isolated. And we did this through a series of assessments where students would come together early and they would mutually set their expectations for what to do, and then they would complete a final product. So our feedback from students on this was really positive. They felt much less isolated. They had more of a sense of community. And it also meant that they were guided through the process of working as a team. So we gave them prompts on how to work effectively as a team. We got them to set the standards themselves for how they wanted to work together. And that meant that the student cohort had gone from feeling very isolated to having a lot of feedback telling us they felt very connected and very part of a community because they really were working together with one another really effectively. So they weren't just learning human biology, they were learning skills of how to work together as a team, which they'll need in their careers. And so I think that's another dimension is having these assessments where we really try to give students a framework on how to approach something, and that this can build their confidence because they can show how with each iteration their skills are developing and they can then apply that skill the next time and succeed. In our workshop classes, we have students who work together in groups, and at the beginning of semester the groups don't necessarily gel together very well. People feel very shy and nervous and they don't want to ask questions. They might be worried that they might sound foolish if they say something. And then as the semester goes on, they start to feel much more comfortable with one another. They feel much better about asking questions of other students, of staff. And so I think on that scale, I've been able to see a real progression in students building their own confidence and they're building their own capacity in being able to engage with the unit.